Growing up, I always had a fascination with the works of William Shakespeare, in particular with his play Henry V. In middle school, this fascination became something of an obsession, and it was around this time that I began making stop-motion animated videos. Given my love for Henry V, I decided early on that I was going to make an animated video of the play. As some of you may have noticed while watching the finished video, the Battle of Agincourt was actually shot on two different cameras. This is not something that we normally do, and the reason it happened with this video was due to the order in which it was made. The Battle of Agincourt, which is to date the longest stop motion we've ever released, was the first video that we ever shot out of order. Up until this point, everything that we made was shot in the sequence of events of the plot. And even after this video, several of our longer projects were still shot in that manner. Gold Fever is a prime example of this. Funnily enough, the reason I shot the Battle of Agincourt out of order was not because I was smart enough to realize the logistical benefits of doing so. It was actually because the beginning of the video was not originally there. In its current finished form, the video opens with the iconic St. Crispin's Day speech, and this did exist in the earliest ideas I had for the video. However, when I began shooting the video several years later, I decided to cut that portion and focused instead on the events of the battle and some minor dialogue that occurs during it. A few months later, however, I received a much better camera than I'd ever previously owned for my birthday. Inspired and frankly excited to own such a powerful camera, I decided to give the St. Crispin's Day speech another shot. Ultimately, I decided that if the audience was bored by the speech, that was too bad, because the speech belonged with the battle. So what happened to the video after it was finished? Well, to put it simply, life got busy while I was in the middle of editing, so I put the incomplete project on a hard drive and, well, forgot about it. Every year, St. Crispin's Day would roll around, and I would remember the video existed, but it would be too late in the year to do anything with the project before October 25th, so I just pushed it off another year. Finally, in 2020, we decided to get ahead of the game and began working on editing the video at the beginning of the summer. Unfortunately, when we went back to the incomplete project, we discovered that I had made a fatal mistake several years before. When transferring the files to this hard drive, I had used the wrong USB port, and several of the files became corrupted in the transfer process. Unfortunately, at this point it was too late as I had deleted the original source files, assuming they were safely backed up. As a result, the majority of the footage that we had to deal with when editing this together into a finished project was rather corrupted. There were strange lines, some of the images were kind of distorted, and some of the footage was just simply not there. Luckily, we were able to salvage the majority of the video. But even in the finished project, there are a few frames here and there that still don't do quite what they're supposed to. As a result of these defects, finishing the video took much longer than anticipated, which is why it was another 2 years before we finally released it in 2022. Despite all the hurdles we encountered and the mistakes I had made, we were still able to turn this into a finished project that we're quite proud of. I hope you've already seen it at this point, but if you haven't, make sure to check it out. We hope you will enjoy watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.